As a driven guy, you likely have a massive vision for your future. You want to make incredible money, have an incredible body, have an incredible girlfriend, have freedom, a job that you love, a great social life and network, and everything in between. But if you're watching this right now, it's probably because of the fact that you aren't there right now. And in fact, your view of your present life feels so insufficient in relation to your vision that it is depressing you. It is quite literally depressing your view of the present moment, sucking the life force out of you, and ultimately preventing you from really attacking that dream and all of those goals with the energy that is required to get them. And in this video, I want to explain to you exactly why that is and exactly what to do about it so that you can pursue those goals with absolute belief, intention, and a limitless source of energy that propels you forward into that life. The reason that you feel depressed about your current life in relation to that dream and the reason it's making you so miserable is because it is quite literally depressing your view of your current reality in relation to it. And the reason for this is simple. It's because you're making a comparison to the way things could be, should be, used to be, or are for others. So fundamentally, whenever you make some kind of a comparison between your present life and some fantasy, some reality of how things could be, should be, used to be, or are for others, then you are by definition placing that view of that reality or that fantasy up on a pedestal. And as a result, again, because you put that thing on such a high pedestal of importance, you depress your view of your current reality. And this is what saps all of your excitement, energy, and focus, and just your ability to do the work, which actually creates this future, or even what just generally makes you depressed, even if it's a comparison to how things used to be. It's because you are making a comparison which is lowering your perspective of your current life, which means that you can't find pleasure in your current life because all pleasure is put off into the distance, and all joy and happiness, all fulfillment, and anything good is all here off in the distance. And this is actually fundamentally why you dislike your life. It's why you feel unfulfilled in your relationship, because you always think that there's a better relationship out there for you somewhere in the distance. It's why you can't find any joy in your job, because you're on social media scrolling and there are all these people working, by the beach or overseas who are working online, making all this money. And so by comparison, your life and your current job or career looks pretty shitty in relation to that comparison. Your body, your financial status, even just your general mental health and mindset. All of these comparisons are making you more miserable about the way that you are and your life currently is. Now, I want to be clear here. I'm not saying that it is bad to set goals. It is incredibly important to set goals because it gives you direction. It gives you something to aim for. The problem is when you put, again, those goals up on a massive pedestal. Because when you put those goals on a pedestal, again, you depress your reality in relation to it. And this generates a lot of pain in your life. Now, some people are highly motivated and incentivized by pain, and pain can work as a motivator for a very small number of people. The problem, of course, is that the majority of people, when they use pain as a motivator, become burnt out, lethargic, miserable, and generally start to just hate their life so much that they end up trying to sedate and run away from that pain. And ultimately, it distracts them from taking the actions that would help them get to that life in the first place. So the question is, what should you do about this? Should I stop setting goals? Should I just settle for the life that I've got? No. What we need to do is we need to balance this scale, right? You can imagine this like a massive pendulum scale where all of the weight is placed up and all of the value and happiness and joy and success is all placed here in the future, and all you see of your current life is loss, failure, lack, and ultimately a lack of fulfillment. So what we need to do here is we need to balance that scale. And how we do that is by creating a list over here. I want you to take a very specific part of this ideal lifestyle. For example, maybe it's the financial situation that you could be in or the relationship that you could be in. And I want you to list down on paper every single cost, downside, drawback, limitation, or element of loss that is associated and attributed to that future thing. So, for example, you will have to pay more in taxes. You will have to be more skeptical of the people who come into your life. You don't know if people are in it for you because they like you or if they're in it for your money. You have way more to lose. You probably have a team that you have relying on you, other people relying on you, your rent costs more or your mortgage costs more, you generally have way more liabilities and way more downside. You might get taken advantage of, you're more likely to be sued. You would generally have more fear of losing it all because again, the social cost of losing it all is way higher the more that you have. Again, you want to continue listing as many things as humanly possible and do this for each individual part on this list. Do it for the ideal relationship compared to being single. Do it to living overseas and having freedom and working online compared to the job that you have now. I know it sounds counterintuitive because in your head you're thinking, yeah, but that life is objectively better, right? Look at all the upsides. I could have freedom, I could do what I want, I could have all the money and all the attention and all the success and things that I've always wanted and that everyone wants. There are no downsides to that in relation to my current life. But fundamentally, if you want to have peace and presence in your life as it is right now, so that you can have the attitude and adopt the mental state that allows you to pursue that life without feeling drawn back and held back by this sense of lack, then you want to go through this process. And so again, now that we've started to clear some of our perspective of the fantasy of the way things could be, should be, used to be, or are for others, we can start looking at the upsides of our life as it is right now. And a lot of these are going to be flipped, right? You don't have to pay so much in taxes. You don't have so much to lose. You know that the people in your life love you for you. You know that your partner loves you for you. You don't have people taking advantage of you. You're very unlikely to get sued. You have way more to lose. You have so much more upside ahead of you. You have something to aim for, which people often neglect as a very exciting part of life, right? People who have all the success and money and power and everything in the world, they no longer have anything to strive for. And I think a lot of people who are striving think that when I just get there, I'll be happy and all will be good. But then you get there and you look back and you think those times of hustling and grinding and struggling and having this aspiration, those were actually the best years of my life. You hear that all the time. And so again, you want to really just be true with yourself and list down every single upside that you can think of your current life over that fantasy, because I guarantee you there are going to be a hell of a lot more than you probably realize. And so fundamentally what we're trying to do here, if we can think of your perspective as this scale, right? We are trying to balance this scale so that we see both the fantasy and your current life as having an equal number of upsides and downsides, with neither one being better or worse. And when you can strike this equilibrium, you can truly find gratitude both in the life that you live right now and gratitude in the life that you're pursuing, because you don't feel as if your current life is incomplete. Because I truly believe that if you cannot be happy in the present moment with your current job, with your current body, with your current anything, right? Whatever it is, then you will never find true happiness over here. Because guess what? As soon as you get here, you set another target, you depress your reality in relation to that again, and you're always striving up towards something and diminishing your quality of your current life and your perspective of your current life as a byproduct at all times. It's just this perpetual hedonic treadmill that a lot of people end up running for their entire lives. Now, fundamentally, what causes all this is, as they say in Buddhism, desire. They say that desire is the root of all suffering. Because anytime you have a desire, you are simultaneously reinforcing lack within yourself, right? To say that I want money, what you're really saying is that I want to not have money, which is reaffirming that I currently do not have money, and one day I will get money, and over there when I get money, I'll be happy. But right now, I do not have money, right? You are reinforcing a sense of lack, which is what this whole depression of your current reality is doing. It's reinforcing a sense of lack. And so what we really want to do here is we want to eliminate that desire. We want to eliminate that comparison and ultimately remove the emotion from the goal so that we can just pursue it with rationality and logic, with gratitude for our present life, because at the end of the day, you have to be happy where your feet are if you want to be happy with any future reality in your life. And with that gratitude and with that neutral emotional state, you can start to think about what are the actions that I need to take because I intend to get this goal. Again, I'm not saying remove the goal. I'm saying remove the desire to get the goal so that you can pursue the thing with rational intention and say, these are the steps that I have to take at each step of the journey. Because again, when you remove the emotion, you restore your ability to think critically and to actually logically think about what needs to be done. Because at the end of the day, your desire for the goal is not what gets you to the goal. The actions that you take are what get you to the goal. And if you can remove the emotion from your actions and you can just act without the stick of pain and the fear of failure and the sense of lack in your current life smacking you in the ass to push you forward, and without this carrot dangling in front of you, if you can just act unemotionally, rationally, logically, and with true conviction, then you're going to find that it's a lot easier to take the actions to get to where you want to go, and thus it will be easier to get to where you want to go. Because the truth is that this shit takes a lot of fucking time. To get into great shape, it takes a lot of time. To make money, it takes a lot of time. To build a great relationship, it takes a lot of time. To build a business that brings you freedom, it takes a lot of fucking time. And most people have this fucked up mindset where they set these massive goals and desires. They're so impatient because they see online that it's so easy for other people and therefore it should be easy for me. But then when reality doesn't meet their expectation, they again create this dissonance, which makes them miserable in the process. It just holds them back from attaining the goal. And I've been there. I used to be the guy who was like, just think positively and attach all this emotion to the goal. And the more badly that you want it, the more likely you are to succeed. And guess what? The more badly I wanted it, the more miserable I felt in my present life, the more depressed I became, the less energy I had, and the harder the entire process became. But I'm a big believer in just making the process as simple as humanly possible. And how I found to make it as simple as humanly possible is to remove the desire, create a plan, and fucking act on it every day, despite any other conditions in your life, despite how your life is right now, despite how big the goal is that you're setting, just acting on it and being present in that entire process, appreciating where you are right now while also appreciating what's ahead of you. And I call this taking on an attitude of indifference. If you can take on that attitude of indifference towards pretty much everything in your life, you will remove the emotions, both positive and negative, that are swinging you on this pendulum, right? Because again, I believe that emotions function very much like a pendulum. Imagine we have this pendulum and this ball at the bottom. What most people try and do is they try and force the ball out to the positive side. They swing and they put in all this energy and effort to maintain this desire and this excitement and this motivation. But guess what? You can't uphold that forever. And eventually you swing all the way back to the negative side. And then you just end up living your life going back and forth on this emotional pendulum, feeling like you're out of control of your life and just never having any true peace of mind throughout your entire life. And again, it's not about what you achieve or the life that you have. This picture right here could very much be right here for someone else. And then there's an even bigger goal up here, right? So someone is living your dream life right now and miserable because of it, because again, they're comparing to something even greater. They'll get to that goal that they've set and then they'll repeat the cycle. It's just a miserable way to live. For some people that works great. And if that works well for you, more power to you. I'm simply sharing what worked for me. And what works for me is removing the desire and simply acting and creating a plan based on logic and what has to be done, rather than using the carrot and the stick of push and pull to try and drive me forward towards that goal. So hopefully that was helpful. If it was, don't forget to subscribe. I'll leave some links down below if you want to get my help one-on-one with Betterment Academy. I'll also leave my Instagram down below because I drop short form stuff just like this every single day. And so, yeah, if that was good, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.